Shock Monkey Radio is entertainment for adults, by adults, and the views and opinions expressed here do not reflect upon the sponsors or FXBG Public Radio. For additional information, please refer to the United States Bill of Rights. Stand warned. I've been playing Pokemon Go because it's social. Granted, demented and sad, but social, as Bender might say. And the real secret is single moms play Pokemon Go. All right, they want, if their kids want to go play it, go spin some Pokestops, they'll go with them, so forth, because you never know what kind of weirdos are hanging around Pokestops, weirdo adults. Plus, you run into dudes, guys my age and so forth who'd play it, and you could say, bring up a casual conversation. Hey, I got a YouTube channel. Just, if you're interested in that kind of thing. And that's, mainly, I'll get like 2 subscribers and then one unsubscribes after about a week, 2 or 3 days. And for every 2 that subscribe, 1 unsubscribes. But, that's kind of the idea. It's like, get out, meet some people. I don't want, I want to get laid at least one more time before I die. So, yeah, you can bring up the picture. Yeah, and so because of this, because I've been playing this game, it's been on my mind, and just like anything that's on my mind, I tend to overthink it. And so I don't know anything. First of all, I don't know anything about the lore of Pokemon because I'm not 6, and so I am only going on what I experienced in this game, because I was never into Pokemon. Don't really I understand the basics of the game. It's really simple. It's designed for children, after all. So I get it. But I start thinking about what kind of world would this be if this were real. Like, you can't go to your mailbox without 5 or 6 strange, weird creatures just flittering around by your mailbox. And you got to use a Pokeball to get rid of them, because apparently you can't kill them. They just faint. And you need to feed them a potion or something like that. But they don't die. And so every 10, 20, 30 feet, you're walking down the street, there's another group of goofy little things standing in your way. A little Pidgey sitting there pecking at your heel. Get off. You can't kill them. All you can do is throw a Pokeball at them and collect them. Now, speaking of the Pokeballs, how come, if you miss, or if they bounce it off their stupid head, you can't pick it up again? What's up with that? I mean, granted, the Pokeballs magically fall out of these Pokestops and so forth, but I mean, why can't I pick up the Pokeball? If I throw it and I miss, it's no longer technologically viable? I can't just leave it? And then you got the grounds crew, they're coming around their lawnmowers. They're shooting pieces of Pokeballs out from under the lawnmower. You got the guys with the blowers. They're blowing like hordes of Pokeballs. Down where? Down into the sewer? Down into the sewer? And then they got to go clean out the pipes because it's jammed full of Pokeballs? You know what I mean? What a weird world. What a weird world that would be. You wouldn't let your kids outside anywhere. You'd probably only let, the trainers out, And they'd have to clear paths so people could get to places. And imagine your kids playing outside. It's just this goofy little, Mom, I don't know what to do with this thing. Like little 6-year-olds will be having nightmares. Like real 6-year-olds. 6-year-olds may play this game, but if it were a real world, there'd be kids having nightmares about a Growlithe. Voltorb, Anyway. The stuff I have to put up with in my mind just to try to meet single moms. Welcome to Shock Monkey Radio. I'm your host, the Madman. We didn't do a show last week because it was relentlessly hot last week. But over the last couple of days, it's been a little bit of God's mercy. It's been in the mid-70s. It's like 72 today. It's overcast, but it's real nice. And we would have probably done the show even if the AC didn't get fixed. But it did get fixed, and the studio's up and running. I think we're doing pretty good. Yeah, it looks good. Good stuff. Moving into the new studio. Yeah, so I'm kind of done with summer. This July was just so damn hot. Yeah, I'm done with it. I'm done with summer. So Can't wait for fall. Fall is a better time of year, I tell you. But I don't think summer's done with us. I think we're going to get another couple weeks here at the end of August. Can't wait for like the middle of September. Anyway. I wanted to tell you a couple weeks ago, I had a Star Wars customizable card game Sunday. You can pull up that picture of Darth Vader. Jonathan came over to my house and he brought all the Star Wars cards. Now, this is from the Decipher Star Wars customizable card game. And I think it started in 1997. And the game is incredibly complex. And I think that's why it ended up they stopped making it. It's because it's kids are mostly the people, Pokemon players are the kids who play customizable card games. This game, you kind of got to be smart. You see, there's a lot of information on this card. See that dot next to Darth Vader's name? That means there can only be one of him or that type of character on the table at any given time. The one in the corner, that's his destiny number. Every time you're in a battle and you get to draw a destiny, you have to draw the next card from your reserve deck, and it pulls that destiny number. Destiny numbers range from 0, or like locations and so forth is 0, to 1 to 7, depending upon the card. Powerful characters like Darth Vader are low, like 1. And you got, over here, the deploy cost, black on white, and then white on black is the forfeit cost. You got the game text, all rules that apply to him in combat and so forth. His power, ability, all determines in battle. And the only thing that doesn't mean anything are the picture and this lore up here at the top. And that's just, just to add flavor to it. I mean, it's a really good design. 1995, I see right there. Okay. And 95, I had graduated high school, and over those 2 years, we started playing a couple of get the starter deck packs. We started playing a little bit back in 95. And by the time 97, 98 rolled around, I was in the Navy. And like when I get 48 hours off, I'd go down to the local Navy Exchange, and in the Navy Exchange, they had like a Subway, a Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, all these places. I'd go get lunch, and I'd go into the little collectible shop that they had there, and they had a bunch of Star Wars cards. So I bought a bunch of Star Wars cards and looked through packs while having lunch and so forth. And I'd bring them home. And when I came home, Jonathan and I would play these cards. And every couple weeks, I'd come back and I'd have new cards and so forth. And so this collection just grew and grew and grew. Eventually, he started buying some cards too. And then they stopped making them, and they're really hard to get now. It's an incredibly complicated game. And I if you're not paying attention, you'll get beat easily, And so I think that's why the game didn't really catch on. But it is the hardest card game I ever played. And a lot of these cards are quite valuable in mint condition. Our cards are not in mint condition. I have like 6 or 7 of these this particular Darth Vader card, and those are worth some money. But we play the shit out of them. It's 6 different decks. If I have 6 Darth Vaders, that's 6 different decks I could put Darth Vader in. And I was always better at making decks than Jonathan. So he would like drop off like all the cards, and then I'd make a bunch of decks, and then he'd take them away, and I wouldn't see him for a year. And he'd come and he's just like, I tweaked this one, I tweaked that one. It's fun. He has a couple friends where he lives where he can play that game. But I get incredibly nerdy. I know I said in the beginning, this is not for kids, but it's like, you've been talking about nothing but kid stuff. And he's like, trust me, this game is not kid stuff. All right, let's go to this next topic. EK was enough with the Gatorade bottles. Class it up. All right. All right. I want to talk briefly because I saw a Paranormal Activity movie. Don't ask me which one. It doesn't really matter, does it? The first one is okay because it was just a new way to present, a scary movie. But after that, it's just like, ugh. And I guess it was on this viewing, I started to realize like the problem with these movies is that these people film way too much of their lives, like to a creepy degree. And I think most of the time it's a white male who's always behind the camera. It's always, honey, put that down. It's like, I'm about to get in the shower. Do you want your wife to have sex? It's a lot of that stuff. You want your wife to have sex with you or not? Put the camera down, And goes, well, I could leave the camera on, That kind of pervy stuff, and it's always a white guy doing it in movies. And not only that, but I mean, it's just the filming constantly filming. I mean, it's different if you're using like a Nest Cam, if you got Nest Cam angles and stuff like that. But a lot of these Paranormal Activity movies are a guy with a camera, hey! You're the dipshit in every room. I'm going to film everything. It just doesn't make any sense. It's like, first of all, why are you married if you're that weird? You know, it's like basics. Anyway, I hate those movies. I don't think I'm ever going to review them. Moving right along. You ever have women play fight with you? Huh? I don't like it either. EK says he doesn't like it. They don't do. They did it in like my 20s, not so much in my 30s and 40s, you know. But in their 20s, they would come up and just throw a punch in your shoulder and stuff like that. And every time a girl did that to me, it didn't end well for either of us. Because I've been trained in Aikido and I've been bullied a lot in school. And so when when I'm confronted with violence, I react with Aikido and some wrestling, maybe even a punch or two. Not saying I punched a woman. What I'm saying is that sometimes a woman would come up and like try to fake sock me in the gut, and I grab a hold of her hand and put her in a Aikido hold, and she's like, she'll freak out. They freak out when you do that. I'm not hurting you. It's Aikido. I'm not going to hurt. This one came up and like tried to sock me in the shoulder, and I put her in a hold, the one like this. I don't know what it's called. And it doesn't hurt. You just can't move. And so it's scary if you've never been in an Aikido hold before. And she's sitting there, you're hurting me. And it's like, I know I've been in this hold before. I know for a fact it doesn't hurt you. You just can't move. And she's like, why'd you do that? And she start crying and run off. And someone comes up and, why'd you do that? She likes you. She wants to like date you and stuff. Now it's never going to happen for you. I didn't know how true those words were. But here's the thing, you know, why not use your mouth or touch me in a non-violent way? I don't know. Just say, hey, I like you. I want to date you. That's probably the easiest way to go about it. Or just like, hey, you know, just touch me a lot. And I'll start to get the picture, over time. I don't pick up on signals very well. Especially when you come up and throw punches at me. So I remember I tossed a girlfriend. She had never thrown a punch at me before. And I tossed her when she threw a punch at me. And that was the end of that relationship. He's like, I couldn't believe you'd do that to me. That I'd do that to you? You were throwing a punch. You started it. It's like, it's playful. It's a playful fight. And it's like, I'm sorry. I don't think there's any such thing as play fighting. What'd she say? She was like, you seen like cats will do it, dogs will do it. They'll play fight. And it's like, that's more like dog wrestling. Like wrestling and even like sparring is martial arts. You know, is practicing in a controlled way. And that's what it's for, you know. But when you get surprised by like a girlfriend in the morning, you're coming out of the bathroom and she's trying to attack you. You may just react and toss her onto the bed, crybaby. It's over. All right. Don't attack me, please. Especially if you want to date me. Seems like pretty basic. Wow. Moving right along. All right. I was looking through, speaking of being single in your 40s, I was looking through these dating profiles, and there's this one, some of the, like, because I read descriptions and stuff like that. People say, you know, no one ever reads these. I read them because I want a woman who is actually good with words. And I found one, and it's something she said I really liked. And it was, how'd it go? I want to find a man who will miss me when I'm gone as much as I miss 90s R&B. And I was like, that's a good one. I mean, yeah, I can like her all I want. She's not going to like me back. I mean, never met anyone from these things. But so I said, that's pretty good. But I started thinking about the very concept of missing 90s R&B. And now my brain takes a wild left turn. And I was thinking about, Why do we miss 90s R&B? Because nobody's really making it anymore. That's why. You know, I was thinking about groups like In Vogue and Sisters with Voices and what was it, TLC, you know, Destiny's Child. Iconic names I'm shouting out here. And what were they? They were like female groups. I think they're all black groups, black women in those groups. Harmonizing, vocalizing, whoa, 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 doing all that kind of warbling stuff. That's great. It's great. We loved it back in the 90s. But no one's forming any groups anymore, making harmony groups. You know what I'm saying? Like even the concept of Bone Thugs in Harmony is kind of passé in our day and age. And Bone Thugs in Harmony were friggin' great. All right? They were a group of guys who harmonized. They were able to harmonize even though they weren't spectacular vocalists. They were better rappers, if you ask me. But they tried, you know, music. They tried using music, and that's what like TLC and Sisters' Voices and In Vogue and all of them. It was all about, and that goes back a long ways with black women groups singing and singing well and harmonizing to make beautiful music. After all, what is 90s R&B but beautiful music? And the 80s came out, and yeah, there was, you know, like rap came around, and people were like, oh, okay, this is pretty cool. And there was a little young Brian McKnight sitting there watching MTV, and he's like, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5. Respect. I like it. You know, was it Run DMC? Respect. I like it. But little Brian McKnight sitting there on his piano, he must have been looking at the TV and saying, looking at Flava Flav, for example, and saying, that's not a musician. He's a rapper, sure, but he's not a musician. Not like Brian McKnight is a musician. You know what I mean? But so Brian McKnight decided to practice the piano, practice singing, and practice being good at music like a skill. Like a skill instead of just, what's his name? Little John or whatever. Yeah. That's what you're famous for. Sorry, you're not a musician. So the problem is, like R&B, the core of R&B is black soul. You know what I'm saying? And blacks are good at it. I'm sorry. But black people aren't doing that anymore. They're not forming groups. They're not harmonizing. What are they all doing? They all want to be solo artists. You know, they all understand each other. You know, they all don't want to rely on a pothead wannabe gangster. It's like, hey, you got to show up. We need the baritone. You know what I mean? And even like the popular like artists of today, like female artists, you know, they want to be rappers too. They don't want to get in a group with a bunch of catty girls. Because, you know, the In Vogue, you know, in the dressing room must have been before every show. You know what I mean? And I can understand that, you know, it's like, it's awful sometimes. But I mean, the product, you know, the music they were making. And what do you got now? You got like Sexy Red. You got Megan Thee Stallion or something like that. And it's all terrible. Those aren't musicians. Those aren't musicians. Rap isn't music. Sorry, Ben Shapiro is right about that. It's not music. It's interesting. It's music-like, and it can be good. But you'll find that even those people who are good at rap are also musically educated. You know what I mean? You know, they're people who went to school. They understand music theory. They understand like how to rhyme meter and how to make a verse. And these people can write lyrics better. They can compose a musical phrase better. They know how to use. They know the difference between piano and double forte and how to use that for effect. Okay. You're not a musician, Flavor Flav. You're not a musician, Megan Thee Stallion. You know what I mean? And if people miss 90s R&B, then, you know, you need to start learning how to play music. Because I miss it too. And no matter how much I study music, I couldn't make 90s R&B. And 90s R&B is crossing my mind. Anytime. At night, I wake up reaching out for 90s R&B. That was fun. All right, let's do a movie review. The first movie review is A Short Circuit, 1986. No, I don't want to do this. It's a terrible movie. You know, I was 9 years old when this came out. Of course, I like the character Stephanie because I was 9 years old. I knew I liked her. I thought she was pretty. I didn't know what I'd do with her if I ever got her. Play with her boobies, I guess. But that's about it. And Steve Gooberberg. He's always been a goober, you know. And ooh, robot. Johnny Five alive. And the whole point is that, you know, I was too young to understand all this hippie nonsense in this movie. We're like, oh, he says it's alive, so we gotta kidnap it from this organization that paid millions of dollars to build it. And give it a chance to prove that it's alive. Nonsense. Nova is in the right. They need to disassemble this thing. At the very least, if you're interested in what happened with the program that made him think it's alive, you could download his information, his software, into a more inert piece of machinery. For example, something without a laser on its back, and tank treads, and an indestructible metal frame. Do you understand my point? It's a terrible, terrible movie. It's too hippie for me. And I didn't pick it up when I was a kid. I was just supposed to be so impressed that they were able to put a robot into a movie. And it wasn't even a robot. It was just a thing that did the same thing. It was like the clown from FX2. Remember that movie?
No, but I know what the reference is.
Yeah, much better movie. So Short Circuit, 1 of 13 stars. It's terrible. I did a Short Circuit 2 movie review. You can find it on this channel on the movie reviews playlist. Much better film, even though I get very mad at that one as well. Screw this movie. All right, let's talk about the 2013 movie Horns. Much, much better movie. It's a hard R. This movie is a hard R. And the R stands for a word that rhymes with grape. All right. So if you're not into anything like that, stand warned.
Time out.
Time out. Why? Something wrong with the video?
I just missed a comment and I feel like it's relevant.
Obviously, Johnny Five is like a mechanical horse. Yes, absolutely. Wasn't there like a mechanical horse in like Marvel Comics?
Oh, yeah.
I probably should start researching horse I get so many comments about horses that I feel like people are like, he didn't rant about horses today. But there is a scene in Short Circuit where he's riding him on the back, riding Johnny Five on the back like a horse. Anyway, let's talk about horns. Yeah, like I said, rough stuff. True, like great evil happening. The sins in this movie is some great evil. And how can I say this without spoiling it? It's like Harry Potter's in this relationship with this beautiful girl, Juno Temple, I think her name is. Gorgeous. And you just get the idea. It's like, oh, they're in a relationship. And then the next thing you know, boom, everyone in town is mad at him thinking that he was responsible for her death, that he killed her. And you're like, oh, thanks for easing me into this. So throughout the course of the movie, you have to piece together what actually happened. And it takes the whole movie to get through it. So you got to pay attention. All right. So if you're one of these passive viewers, you can't do that on this movie or else you're going to miss it. Anyway, some stuff happens and I'm trying to not give anything away. And Daniel Radcliffe, who turns out he's an excellent actor, by the way, he starts growing these horns out of his head. And he's like, people start acting weird. They see him. He's like, oh, you notice anything different about me? And they're like, oh, yeah, your horns. And it's like, but they're so nonchalant about it. They're like, I don't care. You have horns. So what's the big deal? You know? But they also start spilling the beans about their private desires and their sinful nature and stuff like that. And Daniel Radcliffe starts, this is weird. Like, people are acting weird around me. Some people don't notice the horns. Just put that out there. And so the only way I can put this is that this is like a psycho movie, a horror movie, a romance movie, a mystery movie, a supernatural movie, murder mystery. You know? It's almost all the genres at once, except for comedy. There's very little laughing in here. It's just the only thing that's really funny is the way people behave around him, because the nature of the horns has like a strange effect on humans. And so I thought that was interesting, and I don't want to get it away. And so he takes it upon himself using these newfound somewhat like abilities to go and get to the bottom of the mystery of who killed the love of his life, because he's always professed his innocence. And like I said, it's a very compelling movie, but you have to pay attention. If you're not paying attention, you're going to miss it. Like, you're going to be at the end going, what happened? Why is that important? Anyway, so it's really quite good. I was surprised. I don't know why I'm always expect less from any Harry Potter movie. Excuse me, Daniel Radcliffe movie. Poor guy. Sorry, man. I feel bad even saying it, because I've seen a few movies that he's done since then, and he's actually quite good. Have you seen Imperium? Amazing. Another terrifying and like controversial movie, if you ask me. Imperium. But yeah, Horns is a 9 of 13 stars movie. It gets kind of CG heavy in the third act, and I think it could have been better in that regard. But the catharsis at the end of the movie is really quite pleasant. I highly recommend this movie. It's not perfect, and it is kind of hard to swallow some bits of it, but good and evil. Interesting stuff. Always a good idea when you're doing like good or evil, especially like supernatural, like spiritually based. There's a lot of Catholic imagery in this. You know what I mean? Anyway, it seems choppy on my end over here. Is it choppy going out?
As far as I can tell, it looks good, but maybe leave that for the watchers.
Okay. Well, I'm seeing the same.
Well, you're getting a wirelessly transmitted feed.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's get into the news worth knowing. All right. This is the hot news topic of the day, is the gerrymandering. And let's see, Stephen Colbert confronts J.B. Pritzker with map showing Illinois gerrymandering. It's like a stinger on a scorpion, Colbert said in one Illinois district. What a dork he is. He used to be funny. Remember when he was funny? Late night host Stephen Colbert confronted Democratic Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker with gerrymander maps of Illinois congressional districts on Tuesday amid Texas Republicans' efforts to redraw the state's congressional map. Quote, if you're considering doing a little more redrawing in Illinois, you already have some crazy districts in Illinois. Take a look at this. Look at District 17. It does that. And if you ever looked at the district maps, they are insane. All right. I don't know if you bring anything up, but that doesn't really matter. If you look at the district maps, it is insane. If you're considering doing a little more redrawing of Illinois, of course. I was just talking about what Stephen Colbert was talking about. Why did he get cut out in the middle of his live stream? Are we upsetting you too? Or are they just upset that he's actually got live viewers now? Can't allow him to grow it all. So I guess we're back live now. I definitely see us now. I'm going to stop monitoring the chat. So stop using data that way. So we're doing the news worth knowing. Top of the order there. We'll do it quickly. Got 20 minutes left. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. Still figuring it all out here at the new studio. So Colbert confronts J.B. Pritzker with a map showing Illinois gerrymandering. And like I said, if you look at any, especially in cities, congressional district maps, they're all crazy looking. And I don't know if you know the purpose of gerrymandering. The whole idea is to redraw a district around certain neighborhoods because those neighborhoods vote a certain way in order for particularly Democrats to retain power. And fortunately, because Democrats do this, Republicans have to do it too. You play this game, we have to play this game. All right? I don't like it. Hopefully they don't like it either. I think there should be like a set, like say 5 square miles, and they should be square shaped and stuff like that. And that should be the thing, not redrawing them every couple years. just to maintain power. And particularly with the Democrats, they do this to maintain power in the cities. And I think they do that because they know if they did like a more fair or like grid-like structure of like districts, that Republicans would start winning more in cities. And that's why all this started from the very beginning of the Republic. All right. I don't like it. I don't think we should do it this way. I don't think that they should. I mean, it's basically like, just drawing a picture to gain power. It's ridiculous. There should be some more order to it. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, quickly moving on. Let's go to this next story. So John Kerry's ritzy Blue City neighborhood rocked as drug addicts overrun cobblestone streets. See, now something will get done. If it messes up. See, now it's getting choppy again. Something messes up John Kerry's, the rich Democrats' neighborhoods. Anyway. Residents in ritzy Boston, Massachusetts neighborhood are complaining that city leadership isn't doing enough to control open drug use, with locals saying the situation has gotten very scary. You don't say. See, now the rich people are noticing. During a Boston City Council meeting on October 2024, Beacon Hill resident Catherine Kennedy said she hasn't seen this level of illegal drug use in Beacon Hill, according to Boston 25. According to Realtor.com, the average home price in Beacon Hill is $2.3 million. Prior to this year, I've never seen the Boston Common, Cambridge Street, or the Esplanade, forgive me, get overrun with drug paraphernalia or folks in crisis. As a mother of 2 small children, this is very scary. The mother of 2 now carries a Sharps container meant for needles in her diaper bag. 2024 report, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, the point is that, this rich lady is going around the neighborhood. She's keeping a needle bag on her so that she can pick up needles that she finds because she's scared of her kids doing it. Maybe if, I don't know, the police were able to do their job without everyone yelling racism at them all the time. Every time somebody gets caught, they're like, they get let go. These liberal judges letting people go. Minimal bail, minimal time for the crimes that they commit. It's terrible. Justice is terrible these days. And it kind of begins, it starts to, show up on the doorstep of all these rich people who have all these liberal policies. Not saying that everyone in that neighborhood is liberal. Depends on how they redrew the district lines. You know what I mean? So if you're concerned about this is the result of your liberal policies. This is the result of saying, hey, we shouldn't throw these drug addicts into mental institutions. Why not? Let them dry out. Maybe they can start to get their lives together. Instead of just, just leave them on the street. Let the problem take care of itself. But the problem is not taking care of itself because there's new junkies every day because of all the fentanyl you've been letting into this country. I'm sorry. When it comes to crime and drug use, you need the fist and the boot of law and order. I even get tired of these people getting arrested. Like, you can't touch me. You can't touch me. It's like, I think cops are allowed to beat the shit out of you. And as a law-abiding citizen, I kind of want them to. You know what I mean? As far as I'm concerned, if you're like a killer or something like that, and you're in jail and a corrections officer beats the crap out of you, I really don't care. You're a killer. Why should I give a shit about your rights? I'm pissed off that I have to pay for your fucking cable. Anyway. All right, let's go to the big story of last week. I wasn't able to get to it, but a lot of people have been talking about this, and this is the Cincinnati Brawl timeline. So even Fox News tries to soften it. Cincinnati beating timeline. Brutal assault spirals into national firestorm. So Cincinnati, stomach-turning footage of a viral brawl beating that broke out in downtown Cincinnati in late July has ignited public outrage and community leaders as members demand answers about the event that left 6 civilians injured. The brutal beatdown, would it be better if they were cops or soldiers? Anyway, the brutal beatdown gained traction online as the video of several victims being thrown to the ground and assaulted shocked the nation, forcing local leaders to answer for the unnecessary violence in a series of events that continue to play out on the national stage. Saturday, July 26th, Bystander footage captures the moment a large group turns on several individuals at around 3 a.m. in the north on the corner of 4th and Elm Streets, downtown Cincinnati's business district. In a video obtained by Fox News Digital, an unidentified man can be heard yelling racial slurs while being beaten in the street, with some claiming the male slapped the perpetrator prior to the fight breaking out. Another angle shows a woman identified as Holly attempting to break up the fight before she also slammed to the ground and knocked unconscious. Minutes later, after the fight ended, a lone 911 caller rang authorities to report the brawl. One person. At this point, everybody's running out, so it was like 20, 30 people, everyone's out. Throughout the 3-minute, 15-second phone call, 911 operators can be heard asking several times how many people were involved in the fight and whether police were needed at the scene. Do you need cops there? So you're saying they left, and the police, you need police response or not? I would prefer yes. I would prefer yes, absolutely. You know, when something like this is happening on the streets, call the cops. Sunday, July 27th, the chief of Cincinnati Police Chief Teresa Teague, always women, these women in positions, they've always been promoting them, announced at a press conference the department is investigating the incident. The behavior is nothing short of cruel and absolutely unacceptable, she said in a statement. Our investigative team is working diligently, blah, blah, blah. On Monday, July 28th, the police chief revealed that during the press conference that approximately 100 individuals present on the street corner in the fight, only one person called 911. This is unacceptable not to call the police. Traffic was horrendous. People saw this. They were fighting in front of traffic. Why didn't people call us? I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why people didn't call. Because black people beating up white people. And they didn't want, like, for example, they knew this, whoever called 911, this guy is going to be referenced by the news and possibly saying, why'd you call the police? Because the black people are the criminals. In this instance, yes. And people want to say, I was like, oh, he's shouting the N-word at him. I was like, well, even if he was, that does not give you a right to attack somebody. I'm sorry. There's a lot of terrible things out there. Terrible words out there, you lint licker. And just because I say something that offends you does not give you the right to assault me. Or I'll toss you like a girlfriend on my bed. You know what I'm saying? I can say whatever I want about you, especially if you're acting like an asshole. And if you're acting specifically like an asshole, I'd probably use the proper word asshole. So the N-word is not magical, okay? Doesn't give you carte blanche as soon as somebody white says it. Or if you claim somebody who's white had said it. It does not give you the right. People are tired of blacks behaving badly. They're tired. They call it black fatigue, and they're tired of it. You know, Anthony Cumia was beat up in, I think, Times Square, and he just asked a simple question. What is it with black people? And they're quickly resorting to violence. And he got kicked off Sirius XM. You know what I mean? Because nobody wants to face the fact that per capita matters. All right? They don't want to face the fact that the most racist people I know in this day and age, are black people. I went too far. He's unsubscribing. Don't pull your patronage, please. So the point is that, you know, this kind of behavior is disgusting. We're sick of it. And even like law-abiding black people are sick of it. Because when they encounter police and they start to see like cops are like, what are these people going to do? And they're like, trust me, I'm a church black. I'm a good one. But they understand that a lot of people are apprehensive of being around them, of even saying anything to black people. Because they just, hey man, you got any spare change? What'd you call me? And then beat you up. And the cops come and the press comes. They're like, what happened? Well, he called me the N-word. Oh, well, fair play. That's what happens when you say this magical word. And I think the best word is assholes. You're assholes. Lock them up. Anyway, let's go to the next story. Running out of time. We got to go quicker. More quickly? All right. This happened in D.C. 2 juveniles arrested in D.C. attack on ex-Doge worker known as Big Balls. Authorities announced the arrest of 2 teens. See, even Fox News does this. 2 teens. 2 juveniles. Not 2 black teens. They will never say that. With a brutal beating, a former Department of Government Efficiency employee allegedly took place during an attempted carjacking in the nation's capital over the weekend. 15-year-old boy and a 15-year-old girl, both of Hyattsville, Maryland, now face charges of unarmed carjacking. Washington, D.C.'s Metropolitan Police Department said on Tuesday. Police did not provide their identities, as both suspects are juveniles. 15. Police said the investigation remains ongoing, with multiple suspects still outstanding. The victim, Edward Corstein, nicknamed Big Balls, was assaulted around 3 a.m. Sunday by a group of teenagers in the city's Logan Circle neighborhood. The teens attempted to carjack him and a woman, whom police identified as a significant other, according to authorities. Wow, he got beat up. Police said Corstein pushed the woman into the vehicle for her safety and turned to confront the group. You don't get a name like Big Balls for no reason, right? Officers, at least several of the teens then attacked him until officers were patrolling nearby intervened. Officers moved toward the group. The teens fled on foot. Corstein, one of the most visible figures in President Donald Trump's Doge, was left bloodied in the attack, according to the photo the president shared on Truth Social on Tuesday. Trump wrote on Truth Social, the assault prompted Trump to threaten to federalize Washington, D.C., calling for local minors and gang members over the age of 14 to be prosecuted as adults. Yes, please. Bring justice back. I miss that motherfucker. Quote, he said, the most recent victim has been beaten mercilessly by local thugs. Perhaps it should have been done a long time ago. Then this incredible young man with so many others would have had to go through the horrors of violent crime. If this continues, I'm going to exert my powers and federalize this city. Make America great again. Former Doge head Elon Musk weighed in on X, sharing more of the story. Okay, because with Doge, he probably gets updates on this. I'm not going to read though. A few days ago, he said a gang with about a dozen young men tried to assault a woman in her car at night in D.C. The @Doge team member saw what was happening, ran to defend her, and was severely beaten to the point of concussion, but it saved her. It is time to federalize D.C., Musk said. I'm not going to read any more of that. But, when you have a name like Big Balls, I could be your hero, baby. And I think that's in every single man. Oh, I could kiss away the pain. Yeah, mostly you do it for trim, but mostly you also want to think of yourself as Superman. I'm a hero. I'm the good guy. Yes, I'm the superhero Big Balls. Then you got a bunch of people on the street, show them to me. And I was like, no. And I think like all men, they want to be a hero. And it's, white guy did white guy stuff, like being a hero. Getting beat up by 2 15-year-olds. In D.C. People want to... Somebody said, hey, you want to go to D.C.? It's like, hell no. Crime in every city is bad. But D.C., the swamp itself, oh my God. All right, let's do these 2 happier stories. Then we're out of here. 5 minutes. Okay. Man strains his girlfriend's mother's homemade soup to remove ginger. What a psycho! All right, so a baffled boyfriend drew the ire of his girlfriend after he picked through her mother's soup in an insulting way, sparking a social media firestorm. Posting a story in a popular Reddit forum, the young man said the couple was visiting his girlfriend's mom's house, where they are served seafood chowder. Quote, my girlfriend's mom made it once before and it was really good, but she added a few pieces of ginger to flavor it. I really, really, really hate biting into ginger. I don't mind the flavor of the parts. I just don't actually like eating a piece. I get it. The boyfriend said he once bit into a piece of ginger in her past soups, and it almost ruined the whole meal. This time, the man said he asked the mother if she used the root vegetable. She replied that she did, and she forgot to pick the pieces out. She seemed genuinely apologetic about it. I told her it was no problem, and I had an idea. I saw a colander hanging on the rack at the kitchen counter. I went to the kitchen and strained the soup into another bowl, which I asked if I could grab, and picked out a couple pieces of ginger. He then dumped the remaining strained pieces of potato and fish and shrimp and scallops and stuff back into the liquid. The man said, I even apologized for the extra dishes and offered to help clean up afterwards. The girlfriend's mom did not seem to mind at the moment, but the Redditor's quick thinking did not please his partner, who was quiet during the drive home. She told me I didn't have to be such an a-hole and make a big show and dance about insulting her mom's food. He tried to defend his actions, saying that the food was except for a couple of ingredients. Still, that didn't smooth things over, he said. This is actually... All right, and that's what everyone else says. But do you know how psycho that is? Do you know how defensive mothers are about their recipes? It's one thing to say, oh, did you put ginger in it? She's like, yeah. I was like, oh, I do like the flavor of ginger, but I just don't like biting into it. And you can excuse yourself. I'm not going to have any more. I appreciate it, though. Instead, you wanted to filter everyone's soups of the ginger. I get it. Ginger, biting into ginger is a little intense. All right. But do you know how psycho that is? Like narcissistic? You know? I don't like biting into ginger, so it's got to come out of everyone's soup. It's like these transgender people, you know? I don't want to be called a him, so I got to make everyone else call me her. Why do we have to handle it at your end? Why do we have to change our entire world just for you, princess? Sorry about the pee. Yeah, so lady, if you're with a guy like that, you need to dump him, because that's a self-involved person. Anyway, let's go to this last story. 2 minutes. I got to go quickly. Man built a country of just 400 citizens. It was an experiment. Man declared himself president of a self-proclaimed country nestled in a disputed patch of land between Croatia and Serbia, and it comes complete with flag, cabinet, currency, and nearly 400 citizens. Daniel Jackson founded the Free Republic of Verdis, a 0.5 square kilometer, less than 125 acres, sliver of forest along the Danube River. He did so after discovering the area was unclaimed by either neighboring country due to an ongoing border dispute. Verdis was an idea I had when I was 14. Jackson, who is now 20 years old. It was just a bit of an experiment at first with a few mates. We have all dreamed of creating something crazy. Jackson officially declared the republic's independence on May 30th, 2019, news agency SWNS reported. The area the British man claimed, known on maps as Pocket 3, has since been named the world's smallest country, right behind Vatican City. So it's still bigger than Vatican City? The digital designer who earns his living creating virtual worlds on Roblox is running a country. He began shaping Verdis into a functioning government when he was just 18. We started making Verdis a reality when I was 18 by forming laws and a flag. We have now built up a government and have a great cabinet. Official languages of Verdis are English, Croatian, and Serbia, and the nation uses the euro as its currency, obviously. Verdis is accessible only by boat from the Croatian city of Osijek, though attempts to settle there have gotten some significant resistance. On October 2023, Croatian police detained several settlers along with Jackson himself before deporting them and issuing them a lifetime ban from entering the country. They deported us, but they didn't give us a reason why. They said we were a threat to Homeland Security. That is true. He's now operating what he calls a government in exile. Jackson has accused Croatian authorities of installing surveillance along his country's shoreline to block access from Serbia, SWNS reported. We've had a lot of problems with the Croatian authorities, but we do want to have a good relationship with them in the future. I'm going to steal this land. This is mine now. Can we be allies? I don't know. You're an enemy a second ago. Anyway, it's funny because he did it. Was like it is a 14-year-old idea, you know, and now he's at 20, and now it's like, oh, I'm getting this paperwork from Serbia. The country of Serbia and Croatia are both mad at me, and so, you have to appear. I have to appear in the Serbian court, and I got a conflicting date in Croatia. And I'm in Britain, and I still haven't finished this Roblox universe. I need to get done by Friday. It's a silly world we live in, isn't it? It's going to be Inda's show. I want to remind you again that we have a Patreon. Go to patreon.com. I didn't tell you the first time. I have a Patreon. Go to patreon.com. Shock Monkey Radio. Is that you? Patreon.com/shockmonkeyradio, or you can send me money through Cash App. Use the hashtag shockmonkeyradio, all one word. Follow me on social media over here at DNALATSAW. That's the word wasteland spelled backwards on Twitter, or at SLRobbins13 on the Instagram. This has been Shock Monkey Radio. I'm the Madman, and I love you.